What do you make of what's going on in the world right now? You've been through so many things, the Cold War, Vietnam War, the end of the Russian Revolution. What do you make of what we're seeing now?
Very exciting, and I think quite unexpected. I think it's a modern and very different kind of revolution in which Twittering seems to play a major role, which is...
And you tweet, of course.
I do. When I was in high school, I was a jitterbug. Now I'm a Twitterbug.
But it is fascinating to see so many of these young people in the Middle East taking on these old dictators and bringing them down through sheer force of, we want change, isn't it?
Well, it is the purest form of democracy. In other words, to be able to be heard everywhere around the world is wonderful. Very exciting times.
I mean, you've always campaigned for equality and freedom. You've always stood for those kind of liberation in many ways. Do you see sort of a real sea change going on here? Do you think that it's the end of these old kind of dictatorial ruling families around the world who are fleecing their own people?
I think it will be, I don't think there's a simple answer to that. It depends on the individual country, and, some dictators will go willingly, and some there will be violence and bloodshed. But the exciting part is that people are being heard for the first time.
What do you make of the state of America right now? Obviously being through a terrible recession. I'm sure that your business, like everybody's, got hit by that. What's the answer for America, do you think?
Well, I think we need to get back to fundamentals in terms of, both conceptually and economically. I think we need to remember where we were to begin with and get back to basics.
What are the fundamentals, do you think, of America Incorporated? If you were running it like a business, what's back to basics?
Well, one of the things I would be thinking about, what's happened, of course, is that we've outsourced half of our businesses, and national boundaries don't have a lot of meaning anymore. We live in one very small global village, and we need to learn to live in that context, and I think we need some learning. I think America has been the dominant force in the world for a very long time, and squandered some of that opportunity.
I had Donald Trump on the show recently, who I'm sure you know of old, and he was very scathing about China, saying they're the enemy, that America must have nothing to do with them, we should be putting restrictive trade stuff on them and so on. What do you think?
There's no future in that. I think, again, to get back to the fact that I do think we live on one very small planet. And, I also think that the changes lead us increasingly towards, globally, towards democracy and freedom. And that's the exciting part.
Which is obviously what America's always stood for. But China in particular, it seems to me, you can make an enemy of them, but you're not going to win that war. China's economy is expanding so fast that so will their military, that they ought to be, I would argue, more of a friend to America. It should be in America's interest.
Traditionally were. When I was growing up, during World War II, and I served during World War II, the Japanese were the enemy, and China was our friend. Making the distinction between China and Japan was very important back then. Well, again, you get back to the same basics, which is, we live on one small planet. Most of our interests as people are essentially the same. We need to look for those common connections.
Playboy sells all around the world, doesn't it? Do you have any sales in places like China at the moment or not?
We are one of the most famous brands in China.
Really?
On the mainland of China, where the magazine is not yet permitted, we are one of the most famous menswear brands. There are over 200 stores, Playboy stores.
So you sell the merchandise, but you can't sell the magazine?
That's correct. And at the same time, we just opened a casino, Playboy Club Casino in Macau.
Really?
Yes.
But when I was in Shanghai recently, I found that the barriers are definitely coming down there. It's getting much more liberal, I would say, as their young people, through the internet, have found out what's available in the rest of the world. They want some of this. It can't be long before Playboy is allowed to be on sale.
Yes. Yes, well, that's what you get with democracy. When Russia came apart, when the Soviet Union came apart, the first American magazine that all of the Iron Curtain countries wanted was Playboy. And it wasn't just the pretty ladies, it was the stuff. The cars, the wheels, the fashions, the you know,
It
the
is-
lifestyle.
Yeah, your original concept was always lifestyle, not just
Yes,
the sex,
exactly.
wasn't it? And you put the two together and you have the ultimate businessman's magazine. Which countries do you think you'll never get into with Playboy? Or do you think...
I don't know, but I suppose some of the Muslims will be the last, I suppose. But I think because of the open communication around the world now, desires and yearnings are the same everywhere. So I think that, you know, the repression will give way in time.
We've got 10% jobless in America right now. How do you get America back to work? What's the fast way that Obama can try and sort this?
Well, you're asking the wrong guy in terms of that. I think that I do think I think, you know, I've been a big fan from initially of Obama, but I think he missed the point in the very beginning, because jobs is what it's really all about. In other words, the other considerations, health care and all the rest of it, are all very worthwhile, but we need to put people back to work. You need to get the economy working.
Do you think America needs to go back and build things again? I think it's forgotten what it did so magnificently, you know, 40, 50 years ago.
Well, not only do we need to put people to work, we need to become more sophisticated in terms of technology. We need to take a look at what happened to our educational system. If you line us up against other foreign countries in terms of education, etc., we are not the greatest anymore. We pride ourselves in being the greatest, but, you know, we've lost track of things.
Going to have a short break, and when I come back, I'm going to bring a young lady onto the set who has apparently tamed the hef.
Got kicked out of Myanmar, invited back, kicked out again. What's going on?
Hi, I'm Crystal Harris, and I'd like to show you around to a couple of Hef and I's favorite spots at the mansion. So I've lived at the mansion for a little over 2 years, and I definitely did not have monkeys before. We have a whole zoo. Here we are at the tennis courts, and I don't think I've ever played tennis here, but we've taken the net down and we've had a roller disco party here. The tennis court also hosts the casting calls for Playboy in LA. We set up tents and have all the girls come here, and it's also the place for the haunted house at the Halloween party. So I saved the best for last. The game house is Hef and I's favorite hangout spot. Let's go check it out. We have a lot of classic pinball machines, which are a lot of fun. The most recent Playboy one. Hef's better at it than I am. After we got engaged, we kind of just came in here and celebrated and hung out and played games together. So there you have it, the game house, and thank you so much for checking it out, going on the tour with me.
That was Hugh Hefner's fiancée, the lovely Crystal Harris, giving us a tour of the Playboy Mansion earlier today. And Crystal joins us now. Crystal,
Hi.
how excited do you sound in that video?
That was fun. That was fun giving the tour of the mansion.
So look, I totally get why you want to marry Hef. Hef, what do you possibly see in Crystal?
Yes,
I mean, seriously.
indeed.
Yeah.
I saved the best to last.
Can I see the ring?
Here's the ring.
Good grief. That's a rock. It's not a ring.
Oh, it's pretty big.
So come on, Hef, look, you could have had any woman in the world. You've had most of them. So how did you narrow it down to Crystal?
Well, I just literally, you know, it's fate, obviously. I mean, you know, I certainly didn't see it coming. I was not planning on, you know, to some extent, it was Woody Allen who said in one of his movies, Marriage is the Death of Hope. And I had not had a lot of luck in my first couple of marriages, but, you know, I found myself in a relationship. We've been together for about 2.5 years now, where I just couldn't imagine spending the rest of my years with anyone else. And it just doesn't get better than this. I mean, we laugh a lot, and that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you've got a scoop for me, haven't you? You're going to reveal the date of the wedding.
The date of the wedding, can I tell him?
Sure.
It is June 18th.
June the 18th.
This year, Saturday.
Well, we'll be there. Obviously,
we're
there'll be a
excited.
huge CNN breaking news event.
Of course, you're invited.
A June bride. And
bride.
my brother will be my best man. The groomsmen will be my two youngest sons, Marston and Cooper. And
It's going to be a lot of fun. We've done...
the bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids are my best friend Anna is my maid of honor, and my two sisters are going to be my bridesmaids.
Is it going to be a big glitzy Hollywood affair? Is it going to be at the mansion? And
It will be at the mansion, but it'll be a little more intimate.
It's going to be fun. I mean, he got married once in the front yard, so I asked if we could do it in the backyard. It's really pretty.
In front of the waterfall. Very
We have
romantic.
a waterfall, koi
Very
pond.
and how did you propose, Hef?
Well, it was on Christmas Eve. We were opening presents, and I hid the ring inside a little box of her favorite princess, Disney princess is Ariel, the mermaid.
Yeah, I love
So
Disneyland.
I had a little Ariel box, and hidden in it was the ring.
He handed it to me and he was winding it up, and I'm like, what's going on? I knew it was a little music box. I opened it, it started twirling, and the ring was inside. I knew. He just said, I hope it fits. And it didn't. It was too big.
Now, look,
And she started to cry.
let me just play the opposite end of this happy union here. There'll be people watching this saying, Crystal, come on. What are you doing marrying a guy in his 80s? What's the magic of Hugh Hefner?
I love Hef. He's the nicest person I've ever met in my entire life. I have so much fun with him, and it's hard for me to keep up with him. I mean, for my birthday, I wanted to go bowling, and for his birthday, he wanted to go to 2 different nightclubs at the Palms in Las Vegas. So it's fun. We laugh. We have so much fun together. It's the best.
And you really don't know, I've said it more than once before, age really is just a number. You really don't know how long you've got. How long does the average marriage last?
I mean, Groucho Marx, I think, said, you're only as old as the woman you feel.
I didn't say that. He said that. Those are the lines they lay on me.
Is that true, Hef? I mean, do you feel that these young ladies keep you feeling young?
I do think, yes. I think, without question, a relationship with somebody a younger does keep you alive. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look, no offense to you, but fidelity has never been your strong point. When you say your vows to Crystal, are you actually going to mean them? I mean, could you imagine being faithful to her?
I was faithful. I was married, my last marriage, which was not successful, I was faithful to it.
So you actually are going to be genuinely faithful to Crystal?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, without question.
So what happens to all the other women in the mansion?
They still come around every weekend. Everyone's there.
Yes.
But they're not allowed anymore to partake.
They're not allowed upstairs. No.
Really? so
Unless
that's
you
it.
invite them.
So you've hung up your sword, for want of a better phrase.
Well, you never know. I mean,
That's what I mean. I mean, Crystal, do you trust him? I mean, is this...
Oh, yeah. I trust him. We have fun.
Oh, yes.
But do you honestly believe that Hef will not have sex with any other woman ever again other than you?
I don't know what to say. I'm like, what?
I will,
That's what he's saying.
We don't have a traditional anything, so it's
I
fun.
will never do anything behind her back. Let me put it that way.
So as long as she goes along with it, it's
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
See, there'll be people watching this again, Hef, who'll be looking at you going, you jammy man. How have you... Do you know what jammy means? It's
I'm like, what's jammy?
jammy is it's a quaint old British phrase for how did you get so lucky? Seriously. You're rich, you've got your health, you've got
We
Crystal.
have fun. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm lucky too. We're
Do
both.
you feel lucky?
Oh, if life is a crapshoot, I've been shooting sevens forever. No, from my own perspective, I'm a guy who dreamed impossible dreams and made them come true. From my own perspective, I'm the luckiest cat on the planet.
We were talking before you came out, Crystal, about obviously quite serious things, the
Yeah.
Middle East and all this kind of thing. Do you talk about politics much with Hef in the mansion?
No, we don't talk about politics. Just the fun stuff. I mean, we have CNN playing all the time at our house, and
Do you ever watch it?
Yeah, we watch. We've been watching your show.
You have?
Yeah.
How am I doing?
Good.
Pretty good, I think.
Pretty
We
good.
wouldn't be here. We don't go with losers.
And Hef, I mean, you look in great shape. I mean, I know you're a little bit deaf in one ear. What other sort of war wounds do you have?
Well, I have a lower back problem, which I got in the wars. I got it back in the early '80s with one too many playmates in bed. But
I thought that was just like a story you told. I didn't know it was
It's a true story.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about how the whole Playboy thing started, because that in itself is fascinating.